I've had a good number of people recently ask me my opinion about Bitcoin. It is definitely entering the zeitgeist of the public to a greater extent than it ever has. This is partly due to the fact, maybe even largely due to the fact, that the US, which was the world's reserve currency, is printing and spending money that it doesn't have at such a large total. $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. It used to be $1 billion was big. Now it's 2 trillion. $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. Like it ain't no big thing. Well, when you print money and you shut down the economy and people aren't able to produce something that money can be exchanged for, then you are counterfeiting the money. Money in its current state is essentially an IOU for something that you've done that benefited somebody else. So they give you this IOU that you can then spend. As productivity increases, the value of money rises. So if I have $100 that could buy me 100 apples at $1 a piece, and suddenly there's some new technology where the same trees can produce 200 apples, now the price of the apples theoretically falls to 50%, giving my dollar greater buying power. Without inflation, the best place to have your currency would be cash. Without inflation, without government fiat printing, there would be no need for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is largely a response to the governments that continue to print massive amounts of money. It used to be that people had faith in the United States. This is disappearing. This pandemic has undermined the US supremacy in terms of being the world's reserve currency, in terms of being the sanest country on the planet. These things are disappearing very quickly. So what is going to happen? People are going to seek to put their money in an asset that cannot be inflated. There can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. In addition to that, there are a lot of people that lose access to their Bitcoin. They are shut out of the hard drive that it is on because they forget the password. For whatever reason, the Bitcoin is gone. Bitcoin is actually deflationary. There will never be any more than 21 million, and in circulation at any one given time will be a decreasing number. Bitcoin is as long as more and more people agree, it doesn't even have to be the whole world, Bitcoin will be, in all likelihood, the store of value. Now, there's no guarantee to this. What could counteract this? If the United States stops printing money willy-nilly, there's no need to go to Bitcoin. But that's not going to happen, especially under Joe Biden and the Social Democrats that are essentially attempting to destroy the United States. As the United States declines, Bitcoin rises. The IOU papers that money represents, as it currently does, are being stolen by the government. When there's IOU papers that have been handed out for work that I've done, let's say I've done work on your house and I fixed your sink if I'm a plumber, and you hand me these IOUs and suddenly Joe Biden and the Democrats just start handing out IOUs to everybody. What is the value of your IOU? Can it purchase as much? No, it's the opposite of productivity. It decreases the purchasing value of those IOUs. Thus, Bitcoin ascends. Bitcoin will continue to ascend as long as people are worried about the health of the United States as the health of the world reserve currency. And there's not much that the government can do to supplant it, to destroy it, because it's not owned by anybody, because it's decentralized. This is the beauty of the decentralized network. Yeah, they can try. They can go ahead and think of something creatively, but it's going to be very, very difficult. Thus, once again, as inflation takes hold, which it is guaranteed to do, and the economy comes roaring back, you have to put your money either in real estate, which will always have value because it's a place for somebody to live. It's a piece of land that you can grow crops on. You put your money into stocks that can raise the price of what they are selling. So for example, the aforementioned Apple farm, when they realize that everybody's flooding the money with the market with IOUs, aka money, they just start raising the price of apples, especially as their input costs start to rise for fertilizer, whatever else happens when inflation takes hold, and or Bitcoin. So these are my 3 recommendations. Don't have too much cash on hand. US dollars are going to be worth less and less and less. Thank you, Democrats. for your spending. Thank you for shutting down the economy. Thank you, Joe Biden. Says every single holder of Bitcoin that has held it for any length of time. They get phenomenally wealthy as the rest of society and the savers that have accumulated the IOUs get fleeced and robbed. Inflation is the legal counterfeiting of currency. Bitcoin to the roof. Peace and blessings.